Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Darts, episode 53. We have Angela Mills with us today. She's the Destiny Cup winner. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure what the Destiny Cup is. There's a number of things out there, of course, in the darts world. So we're going to learn all about that today. And we're going to talk darts. She's got some information on a darts bar over in Nashville that has been certified by Guinness as the largest darts bar here in America. So we're going to talk all of that interesting stuff. We'll talk about just her darts play and game. And then she's got some other interesting news to give us. So this is going to be an interesting conversation. It's going to be a lot of fun. She is a follower of the show. She is a fandom. She is a bombardier. And so that's part of the fun of this. So the goal here with this channel is to bring on people that like the show. So before we bring her on, just wanted to point out the jersey. This actually came from Magicwear. This is the USA Darts production jersey. You can get these still, and they were kind enough to throw some logos on for me. Thank you, everyone over there at Magicwear. And of course, Magicwear is one of my sponsors, so make sure you check out Magicwear at magicwear.com. Cool looking jerseys, and they can do all kinds of cool custom stuff for you. And the pricing is really, really spot on for getting a full custom jersey, or if you just want to pick one up. And of course, Shot Darts, shotdarts.com, making killer, awesome looking darts. Been doing this for 50 years. So if you want a darts company that's been making them in the same place, not offsetting it into China or anywhere else, but doing it right here. Well, I can't say right here because they're in New Zealand, but you know what I mean. They've been doing it in New Zealand since day one. Great place to get darts and dart boards, because that's what they started with. So you want a manufacturer who's been making them in-house for 50 years, check out Shot Darts at shotdarts.com. And of course, you can pick up their stuff at A to Z Darts as well. Want to also thank Condor for coming on Condor Darts with their flights and shaft systems. They've come on as a sponsor as well. Of course, they do the all-in-one flight shaft system. This is the Axe. Been using it for a few weeks, and I'll tell you, way more 180s. Dylan hates it because I'm crushing him on the soft tip board, but I'm hitting him in steel tip in league. The nerves are kind of gone away. Loving that flight shaft system. Doing really well in league. I think right now my average has got me number one. For us, my average has gone up significantly as well. So I recommend you check out the Condor Axe system, or just the Condor flight system in general. Their other flight system's a little bit flimsier, but it's great and the kids love it. All right. It looks like Angela unfortunately dropped off. She was on the call, so hopefully she can get back on. We were having a few little hiccups there. So hopefully Angela will get on, but before she does, let me say good morning to some people. Evening from down under. Now, good evening to you. Good morning to me. What's up, Will? Awesome. Glad that jerseys made it. These are cool. The other jerseys came in. I know, Will, one of these is yours. So I got some jerseys in that. This is the first jersey. They're getting shipped out today. So if you've ordered a jersey, they are on their way out. There's some goodies in there too. Good morning, Lucas. Good morning, Michael. It looks like Angela is getting back up. Check here. It's working. It's doing its thing. So should be here anytime. Raid. Good morning, Devin. She's back. So let's add Angela to this, and we'll get into it. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning.
How are you?
Sorry about that. I had a
technical
glitch.
difficulty. Yeah,
Yes,
no worries.
just a little bit.
No worries. So everybody, this is Angela, and Angela Mills. She's been playing darts for a day or two, and she's going
35 years.
35 years. It's longer than I have played, but not longer than I've been alive. So everybody thinks, and I'm like, no. But anyway, all right. So we got some good mornings. I do have one quick question I got to answer real quick before we dive in. It says, on the Condor, which is the best for a sturdy setup? Again, it's the Axe. So Angela, I don't know if you've played the Condors. It's a great flight shaft system, but
I have seen them, but I've never really played with them before.
It's an interesting flight shaft system. I recently switched over to them, and I've been my average is up and loving it. Anyway, let's get into having our interview now. Welcome to the show. And I know that you've been a fan of the show. You know what we consider a bombardier. Nice coffee mug. There you go. You gotta like that. So, Angela, you said 35 years. Can you give us a little bit more than just 35 years? I mean, what got you into darts? You know, let's just start there.
When I was younger, in 1986, there was a Sam's program. Sam Walden actually had a dart program out here in Tennessee, took high school kids and just let us play. And I fell in love with it because it's kind of a weird story, but for over 20 years, my family delivered newspapers. So I went from throwing one way to throwing a different way, and next thing I know, I was clicking. And it just got addicted from there when I found out that I could win state titles, I could win money, I could travel the United States. And I just fell in love with it.
Real quick. Something that just clicked for me. So you were in school and they gave you sharp objects to throw at the wall. That can only happen in Tennessee, because out here in California, well, we get knives, but we don't get darts. So,
well, Tennessee's a whole different ballgame all the way around.
True. But that's cool though, because like my son, as you know, I mean, he's a math wizard, and it's because of the dartboards, and he's just getting better and better. And his math, like his teachers are like, he's off the charts when it comes to the math. And he's crushing it there. So that's awesome that they were doing that in the schools. I think they need to bring that back. So you started playing. Sam Walton brought darts to the school. You started playing. You realized, hey, I'm good at this, so I can do this. But where did it go from there? Did you just kind of join a league? Did you start, did you just run out and say, hey, I'm going to do tournaments?
Well, I wasn't able to join league until I turned 21. That was still a rule back then. So that wasn't until 1992 that I was able to join a league. So for years and years, I played like family in the living room. Some of the bars let us go in until like 10, 11 o'clock because under 21 still was able to go in and eat and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I found one certain bar here in Murfreesboro that the addiction didn't take a whole nother level. And that was Gentleman Jim's on Main Street here in Murfreesboro. They had some of the greatest male shots that this state had to offer to play against. And yeah, I got my butt kicked. I mean, annihilated, kicked. But it made me want to play the game even more to beat them down the road.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until 92 that the major addiction hit. And then in 93, when I get my first state title, top 4, it was on since then.
Very nice. Nice. Yeah, so we're not too far off in age. I'm not going to totally reveal all of that, but
well, I'm about to turn 50 this January. I'm very proud I've made it this long.
Yeah. I'm not quite there yet, so but anyway, so that's the kind of the takeoff there. So 92 was the, hey, I really got to get playing this. And then the push forward. Yeah. So what's it been like since then? I mean, I realized that ladies in darts in the 90s, that was still kind of taboo-ish. Dita, definitely at that point had established herself, but
right.
For
it was
for
one
women,
of the first main women that I ever heard of playing darts.
She's been playing darts since the 70s. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it right there. We're not gonna get into age groups or anything. We're gonna leave it there.
Right.
So what was it like being, a female playing? And I know Tennessee's, they're maybe not as progressive, we'll say, as maybe, some other areas. Just curious what it was like, because I have no clue,
It's a very belittling game in the beginning of the darts. Women weren't considered anything. We were not as powerful, not as continuous in consistency. All the big boys were pumping out ton 80s left and right. We were doing good to move 60 sometimes. It wasn't until I left Tennessee in 99 that I met more powerful women out in Oklahoma in the soft tip world. But here in Tennessee, in the long run, women have always had a powerful presence because I grew up playing Karen Theodore, who was from Holland originally, Lisa Ayres back in her early days, Sandy Haas back in her early days. All these women, we all grew around the same time. And we learned the hard way that if we don't play like the boys, we ain't going to stay like the boys. And that's the three women that really molded me in the beginning was Sandy Haas, Karen Theodore, and Lisa Ayres. And Karen Theodore doesn't play anymore because of conditions. I'm not quite sure all, but Lisa and Sandy, every tournament, there they are. And it's awesome because we all adapted, overcame, and became more male-like in thought. And then next thing you know, our game took a whole nother level.
Yeah.
When I went out to the soft tip country in Oklahoma in 99, they could tell I was a steel tipper. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of women out there are strong soft tip players. I mean, I didn't realize how quick they could become strong off of a soft tip board.
Yeah, it's a kind of an interesting concept, and like, and you know this, and anybody listening will know that I believe this is the sport that equalizes everything, but there's always a stigmata when you come into something. There's always, you know, that it's even like if you go to an English pub or you're playing someone from over in the UK and you're playing darts, there's always still, at least I see it or I feel it, that little bit of a, you know, I'm an American, you know, I should be worse than you. You should be better because you grew up. Just that idea behind it. And I think that comes with men and women when it comes to sports, is the idea is that men are stronger. And in theory, we are. You know, there's definitely, we're built differently. It's just, we're built with different mentality and jobs as humans. That we know. But when it comes to darts, you're throwing a dart. So it really comes down to the mental capacity and the ability to withstand being at the Aki for a long period of time. If anybody ever wants to know what that's like, put a heater on pointing directly at you and play for an hour, and you'll get a little bit of an understanding of what it's like in a competitive arena if you've never been there. So interesting, you know, that, you know, when you went to soft tip, it was a little bit more of, you know, kind of an equal type game. What was, you know, I'm curious what that experience was like moving, you know, and that you say that they knew you were a steel tipper. What was the telltale side? Did you throw your steel tips at the soft tip board? I mean,
it's just the way that I threw. Apparently it gave myself away. I wasn't used to single outs. I was double outs. They could tell by me going after the 20s instead of going after the bulls.
Yeah, that's the telltale.
But I could hit a 1080 quicker on a soft tip board than I could three bulls when I first went up there, because I was used to concentrating on them.
Yeah.
And that 1/10 of an inch, when you're a wiring person like me, that 1/10 of an inch is your saving grace on the soft tip board. And people don't realize it. That's why a lot of steel tippers do good in soft tip, is that 1/10 of an inch makes a huge difference.
It does. And and I play Dylan quite a bit. And since I'm in league and we play, I don't have the camera where you can see it, but I got a board right over here. I'm going to adjust this a little just because I want to show off my board a little. So, you know, there we go. So, you know, I got the board back there, but we play and I'm exactly the Nexus. It's a great board. I got the Grand board too, but Dylan and I play, and lately I've been, because I'm in league right now, I'm throwing more at the 60s, and he's always like, why are you doing that? And I'm like trying to explain to him the major differences with that. So, yeah, I can understand, you know, that. And I remember watching Phil Taylor when he went over to, I just blanked on what it was called. Over when he first retired, he went over to Asia and played the Masters, I think is what it was called. It was like a 6-tournament deal over in Asia. And he would plop in these 180s when he was a little behind, like it was nothing. It was like a hot knife going through butter. I mean, he would just, and I'm like, it was amazing. So,
right.
Totally understand. Sorry. Got off tribe there.
Oh, so that's good because Phil Taylor's the one dart player that I've followed throughout my entire career. He's always said there's so much technology out there. Never limit yourself to one little thing. Change your setup, change your feel, make yourself uncomfortable. You know,
Yeah.
practice 8 hours a day. You just have to listen to their advice. And I've always listened to all of his interviews and listened to his advice, and he's right. You have to practice many hours.
It's the 10,000 hour situation. And I will say that there was God, Jesus, the Holy Ghost, and Phil Taylor. So it's kind of been like that. But hey, there is a question that came in, and everybody wants to know about this. And this is, I was kind of holding this out, but let's just get into it. The Destiny Cup.
My little baby right here behind me.
Yeah, that guy that's, I mean, everybody's questioning what.
She's 40 pounds of awesomeness.
Okay, where's she from? What is she about? I'm curious. Everybody else is curious.
Okay,
let's talk about it. You won this thing, so let's dive in. Let's have some fun with it.
Okay, so back in 2017, Triple D Dart Productions and Dart Junkies got together and decided to make a series. Was supposed to be for a year, and you played various tournaments, and you got so many points for your wins. And at the end of the year, you accumulated the points and you won the trophy. The first 2 years was Vera Carter and Heather Dupree's. Those two battled it out throughout the year for different tournaments all over the South. Any tournament that Dart Junkies recognized for their points. And then 2018-19, something happened, and I'm not quite sure what, to where they didn't get to do it. And because of COVID this year, they decided that Tough as Nails is a women's organization out here that Tammy Kirkpatrick started herself to promote women's darts. Since I moved back here in 2016, I've been playing actively in that. We challenge each other. We pay so much money and earn jerseys. Well, Triple D Productions and Dart Junkies decided that, you know, it'll be a one-day thing this year because of COVID. Everything because of COVID this year. And we had it at the Copper Top Lounge that Triple D owns down there in Huntsville, Alabama. If I remember right, there were 64 women all together that day, if not a little over, because it fluctuated to who, what went in there. The first event, Danny Womack beat me in singles 501. I took top 4 in that. And then I don't know if you know Jason Brandon from the CDC circuit. Yeah. That's from the Chattanooga, Tennessee area. His daughter, Clayana, and I were partners for that day. And we took first in both doubles situation, and then I won the singles cricket. So it was a no ifs, ands, or buts. I took 3 first place, and I got a beautiful trophy for kicking butt all day. And nice. To get on your thing about how it is to play on the women's side, some days our days are 15 hours long because of women struggle sometimes with our games, and it takes 3 times longer because you deal with ups and downs, and you don't want to kill your opponent when you're trying to promote women's darts. So at that tournament, we basically had a 15-hour day because we were trying to promote each other. Physically, it's a long day for a women's dart tournament. And when I found out that I won that baby, it just made it all worth it.
Very nice.
It's my first kind of trophy like this.
Can you grab it and kind of show it off to the camera? Because I think everybody wants to see this thing.
Yeah,
this is going to be one of those moments where I ask them to do something, they're going to drop it, and I'm going to feel horrible.
Oh, no. I will make sure I don't drop this sucker. That's for sure.
Very nice.
And
I think it's cool.
You get to keep it for a year, and then you have to take it back and defend your title and try to do it again. That's
nice.
She's heavy.
She's heavy. You get to put Halloween candy in that. Be like, here, kiddos, look.
I wish. where I live at in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, we just went back a phase. Unfortunately, and town is back on lockdown, mask mandates, and I don't know if our bars are going to get to stay open to 3 o'clock in the morning anymore. We were back to the stage where our bars were open full hours.
Yeah, we're trick or treating. We're kind of in this limbo situation. I got kids, and well,
mine's 23 and in the Marines, so I don't have a little one to take trick or treating anymore.
I have a 22-year-old, and then I got the 6-year-old and the 5-year-old. So
yeah,
don't anybody out there listening, don't do that, because like right now, my wife and I could be doing stuff. Well, we couldn't because of COVID, but we could. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just don't. 16-year split. Don't do it. Trust me. Don't do it. Speaking of kids, really excited. I just got to share this with everybody, and you'll understand this to the fact that my kids go back to school today. I'm so excited. For 2 days a week. So we're on like a limited schedule. They go 2 days a week to school, and then they're homeschooled the rest of the time.
Right.
I'm super, super excited about it, because what I get to do is I get to make videos this morning and actually review product. It's going to be a lot of fun because the kids are gone. So I just had to share that because I'm like,
believe me, I understand. Everybody around here has been waiting for their kids to go back to school. So ready for them to go back to school.
Yes. 2 days, it's only 2 days a week, but hey, I'll take it. The school has some, it's funny because our schools, I know I'm totally off topic when I'm talking darts, but anyway, our kids go 2 days.
Kids are part of our darts, whether we realize it or not.
Mine are for sure.
Our life.
Mine are, they have to ask, they do a questionnaire like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up, at this age? Because they're going to school, and both of them are like, I want to be a darter. I'm like, sweet. I'm going to make money off one of them. But, they go to school 2 days a week, and then the other 3 days a week, the school has a school program, but it's not school. So I'm like, this is weird. They're still going to go to school, but it's only for a couple hours. It's not a full day.
Right.
I'm like, this is why. Anyway, who cares? They're out of the house. I get to make videos. I'm excited about it. So there was a question that came in here that I saw, if I can find it. Morning, gentlemen. Morning, everybody that keeps with the mornings. Did you get many chances to face off against the great Stacy Bromberg? Did you play her much?
I played her 3 times total in my lifetime. The last time I met against her was 2015 in her backyard in Las Vegas. And I am proud to say that I took her 2-0.
Nice.
The other 2 times, she annihilated me. She was perfection in motion most of the time. She always had me in awe. I loved playing Stacy. Anytime I got called up, I was like, all right, just get it together and try. And that 3rd time is kind of a funny story. I was living in Colorado at that time, and I got the chance of a lifetime to play on a team with Brenda Roush, Renee Ripple, Stacy Pace, myself, and 2 other females. And I was sitting at the table with Brenda and Renee when they called me to play Stacy. And I looked dead at them and I was like, it's no longer the 90s and it's no longer the little girl. It's time to play. And I walked up and I beat her 2-0, and it was just awesome. And it was the one time she actually talked to me after it, because usually Stacy was business. I mean, I never disrespected her for that. She was always, I'm here to beat you, not talk to you. I'm going to go.
Yeah. But
that was toward the end of her life, because she was dealing with the cancer again. And I think she finally realized, I might want to say something to her. I've seen her a few times. And it was awesome. She was no ifs, ands, or buts, one of the greatest women you'll ever have got to see if you got to see her play live. Great woman.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see her play live. I have seen some video stuff, but I have not gotten the opportunity. I did not get that opportunity. So,
see, living in Nashville during the 90s, we had the Music City Classic, and that was one tournament she did come to, because, well, we had Chuck Pankow and all them here at that time, and Chuck was just starting to become international at that point. And it was great to see Stacy. Every now and then we got to see Peter Manley and Phil Taylor at Music Classic in the early 90s. So it was always a great scene.
Yeah, the good old days.
Yes.
It's funny. I wish they, and I talk about a couple of things I'd love to see the darts community do. One, of course, is have like a masters thing. And I've heard that, is it, I'm blanking on their name, Modus, or one of the companies is trying to do something where they get some of the legends to come. I want to see a legends tour, just kind of like the PGA has and these other sports where some of these guys can be retired but come and still play a little. I'd love to see that. But the other thing I'd really love to see is that old bar scene darts, where they're in that smoky bar and they're playing darts. And I think they need to play with fatter barrels and just get that old vibe back. I love watching those old, the Eric Bristow days and watching that stuff. That's fun to me.
Yes.
Watching that. So speaking of bars and darts, you had mentioned when we were talking that there is a particular dart place in Tennessee that has some world record renowned with Guinness. Why don't we talk a little bit about that? And I'll let you share because you apparently have been there. I have not.
Craftsman on the Hill is in Nashville, Tennessee. It used to be Nash Vegas for the people that have come through a lot. But they did a lot of renovation. They straight up gutted that thing and redid it. And now, not that long ago, Guinness came out and certified them as the world's largest steel tip bar. And now Michael Harkins is from the UK. And he started talking to Patrick and the other owner, and we now have a super league going on up there to allow players to play with Deidre Hedman, and the men get the chance to play with Norris. The winners of these super leagues get to play with them as a doubles partner. Craftsman on the Hill, if you are a dart player, is your heaven. I'm not going to lie. You walk in there and it is hallelujah when you see all the dartboards. There's no pool tables. There's a few video games like the golf and stuff like that. But there are 40 steel tip boards and then 11 soft tip boards. And it is the greatest bar ever in the world. I mean, to see that much darts not being on portables is awesome. And all these ones in the side saying here they need to see it. Yes, you need to get out here and see it. This is a history bar because Michael Harkins has stepped up and made a program to where we possibly could have an American Alley Pally situation. They want to do this kind of tournament 2 times a year, bring in international players. They are flying them in for this first one. And he really wants to try to push the women harder than the men because this is an opportunity. I mean, in 35 years of playing, I've never heard of a chance to play with an international player just because I won a league.
Yeah, that's cool.
And to have this in my backyard right now is even bigger than anybody could ever dream of to have because this place could hold tournaments like you wouldn't believe and run it smoothly, efficiently, and not have a lot of hiccups.
Yeah, I'm checking out their Facebook page. I was looking for a website for them, but I don't see a website.
I'm not quite sure if they have one yet. They've still been trying to get a lot of things done. They're still trying to work out a few things. COVID's kind of not let it get to its full potential, but Nashville can stay open till 11 o'clock. So we have the blind draws there as much as possible. They had the in-house league that just finished. GNDA, Greater Nashville Darting Association, has teams out of there on Wednesdays. Friday nights, they have a big blind draw. Saturday and Sunday, you can get a blind draw going there if you want to, because believe me, there's enough people there usually. But I can't say enough positive about Craftsman on the Hill because it was a dart player that made the bar. And he took everything that he ever wanted to see in a dart bar and made it happen. And I just got to give them props. They straight up gave us one of the greatest dart places ever in my lifetime.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Just looking at this, I'm excited about it. I wish I could. Maybe I should just share. I'm going to share this real quick.
That's no problem.
And just so you guys can see, there's not a whole lot on here to show. I mean, it's their Facebook page, but if you look at this top image right here, their banner, you can see all of the tops of these boards that are running this wall. That's pretty
That's
impressive.
Just the back wall. There's 2 other walls of dartboards.
That's pretty impressive. They got a lot of stuff going on here. This is cool.
That first picture that you're showing on the page there, that's Joe Stockdale, our current state champion, with Eric Prim on the left-hand side.
That's they got a lot of stuff going on. So there's a Halloween costume if anybody's interested. So just want to share that.
I'm just saying, it's the awesomest bar you can ever walk into. And if you are a true dart player, you will have a hallelujah moment when you see that bar.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I have this fantasy dream of taking coffee and darts into a coffee type place, but it would be a coffee shop with darts because I'm a huge coffee fan. But we could rotate at nighttime, like 10 o'clock, into drinking beers with coffee in them. That's a quite an idea that I have. So hopefully someday I'll have to go check this place out and steal some ideas and see if I can get one more board up than they got. See if I can manage that. But I got to win the lottery first to make this all happen. So
if anybody really wants to see the inside of the bar, there are videos in there that show you the construction and then the final when they get the boards up. Patrick, one of the co-owners, did all that.
Looks good. I like it a lot. So you mentioned this gentleman, Michael. I'm just curious, is he Darts Wolf? Can you confirm or deny whether he's Darts Wolf? And if anybody hasn't heard, Darts Wolf is some guy that's out there that's supposedly giving away tons of darts stuff. And I keep hearing his name.
Dart Wolf.
He's not Dart Wolf. Okay, we can confirm that. Okay, I'm trying to figure out who this guy is. But apparently he's worked with some other YouTubers and given away tons of darts materials. So speaking of that, if you guys are enjoying the show, don't forget to hit the like and smash all that bell stuff or whatever. It's much appreciated. So we've got this really cool bar. They're doing all this really cool stuff. They're trying to get in international players to come play there. And the hope and desire is to make this kind of the tournament go-to spot here in America. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is okay.
They would really like to make it to where we have an Alley Pally here in America, a version of it.
I'm excited about that. This is funny because Devin Hunter said if I put up 41 boards, he'll buy 20 more to stay number one. Okay, well.
Let me tell you who Devin is. Devin is my current student. And in 3 weeks, this man has went from barely knowing anything to throwing. I mean, we played best out of 51 for practice. It's more to get his consistency and him to realize, how long a match can go. But last night he went up to Craftsman on the Hill and went to his first blind draw. So Devin, if he says he'll do that, I bet you he would, just so he could come out to your place and play. He's become addicted in 3 weeks. We've thrown over 5,000 darts on Dart Connect. Yep, he just won his first blind draw last night. And
nice job, awesome.
Devin. He's one of those students where you sit back and it's like, man, this man, if he keeps this passion and drive, watch what happens. He's going to be a beast. Danny Womack and I both have taken time to spend with him and develop his game, and he's taken it from there. It's one of those situations where you find somebody with a spark, you give him a dartboard, because I literally gave him his dartboard. And I was like, here, quit talking and do it. And next thing I know, he's doing it. So
very nice.
I love finding those kind of people. I love finding people that want to learn, because I have nothing but some time, especially right now. But it's amazing. I love teaching people to play darts because all my years I've got a little insight, and I'm like, listen, this is what you got to do. This is how you got to do it. And you got to practice, 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 practice. Because I can tell you all day, but it's your practice that makes it.
It's very true. I mean, practice is, any sport or anything in life that you're going to get good at, you've got to practice. You've got to put in the time and the effort. And I think we all know this, but we tend to forget those that we watch, those that we pay money to see, to do whatever their craft is. Sometimes we think they just woke up and it was like, okay, I can do this. And some of them will say comments like that, but ultimately, that they've been working at it for many, many years, for, putting in the hours. And you can tell anybody that watches sports, you can tell the people that are really putting in the time and the effort and the people that aren't. And this brings me to MVG, because I love MVG. But as you can tell this season, he hasn't won anything. With that said, he's got kids. So
I was about to say he just had a kid not that long ago.
Two of them.
Right. But he just had a brand new baby not that long ago. And everybody's like, what's his problem? I was like, he's a new dad. I mean, anybody with a common sense is like, all right, I'm out here in the middle of COVID, I'm playing, and I had to go home to a brand new baby. It's probably a back thought. And he's like, do I really want to continue, or do I really want to push forward like I normally do to enhance my sport? And no ifs, ands, or buts, the sport is MVG's right now in a lot of games. He's got so many great games under his belt. So,
well, I will say, and I'm going to give Dax. If you guys don't know who Dax is, he's been on the show before, and he writes a blog post that A to Z posts. But he mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, and it was even prior to any of the announcers on the PDC. But his release is definitely different. He got a new manufacturer, and I think the barrels didn't feel the same, and family, and that just changes and adjusts your mindset and stuff when you're out there playing. He's lost the killer instinct in his eye that he once had, where he didn't care. He was going to beat you. I think he's thinking too much when he's at the Aki. I think he's thinking too much about everything that's going on. But I believe I'm waiting for the Worlds. I think it's going to be really interesting when the World Championship is on the line, how he plays. I think that's going to be a telltale sign for him for this next year. But speaking of PDC and darts, who's a favorite for you in PDC on the guy's side, and then on the ladies' side?
I'm going to have to go with Lisa on the girls' side. She is I've always been in awe of her. Every time I've got to see her on the TV or YouTube playing. So I'd have to say with Lisa. With the men, gosh, I'm such a fan of all of them. It's really hard to pinpoint one, because all of them is just, they're awesome. They've all promoted darts in their own way. Throughout the years, you see little videos of them doing things with special needs children, taking people that didn't know darts, and they gave them a set of darts, gave them a jersey, and inspired people left and right. So
there's nobody you root for come, Saturday, Sunday, that you're like, okay, I'm really pulling for this person. There's just not that one
Snakebite.
Snakebite, yeah.
I would have to say Snakebite is probably the one that leads the most. I've always enjoyed his style. He's never been one to go with the norm. Because remember, back when he was playing about 5 years ago, the black pants was a big issue. And he always had to wear colorful pants. So if you remember a few years back, they were black pants with paint splotches all over them.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? He technically wore the black pants. And he won the argument, and now he's one of the most colorful dart players there is.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't know is that he got fined at first
Right.
for the snake bite get up, but the PDC got smart. They did something smart outside of, their dartboard choice is not, I'm not a fan, but they got smart at least in allowing players to have personalities, which is, if you look at the explosion of the game, it was when they allowed the personalities to come out. So
yeah, it is straight up. It's when they got a little bit more flexible. I understand rules are rules, and they're needed. No ifs, ands, or buts. The caliber of play that's up there and all that. But it's just a little something to add pizzazz to the game, in my opinion. I love it. And if you ever watch some of the videos of what that man has to go through to get his hair and everything done, he's a patient man.
He's a patient man, and literally, and I think I mentioned this last week, that he has suitcases that go with him. He has an entourage to pull his suitcases for his hair and clothing products.
Yep.
It's an amazing feat. They need to do a video. Someone needs to get in there and just basically set up some cameras and go through just shoot that process. There you go, PDC. You're welcome. There's a video idea for you.
I like that idea.
Let's see the snake bite get made up once, and just, you could do the full video and you're going to get tons of views because people are going to watch that. But then you're also, you could do fast forward, whatever you want to do with it. But I think that would be cool. So the people's champion, that snake bite, I'm crowning him the people's champion. That's your kind of go-to when it comes to the men. And I can understand that. I struggle with who I want to see win each tournament. I'm always happy. There's one player. I have to admit, there's one player, as much as I liked him when he first came on the scene, I've met him and he kind of has a little bit of a tude. He's got this attitude. And so it's the only guy I tend to root against. And I think it's bad of me to do this, but I do. And I'll probably meet him someday, and he's probably a really nice guy. But the one interaction I had with him, I just was like, wow. And that's Super Chin. And I don't know if he was just having a bad day, but I loved him when he first hit the scene. I saw him in Vegas. I was like, this guy. But then, anyway, that's just my thing. I know I'm getting off on my own little tangent here, but he's the only guy I actually root against in the PDC. So now you guys know my dirty little secret. So, but anyway, what about CDC? Are you watching much of this online stuff? The Champions Darts Circuit, USA Darts Productions?
I have friends personally involved.
Yes.
Jason Brandon is one of the dart players that I grew up in the 90s playing against down in the Chattanooga area. I mean, he's been a straight up dart life friend. As long as I've been playing darts, he's been around. And I remember Jason in his beginning days, and every time I hear his name, I'm just like, let's go, Tennessee folks, come on. You will never meet a nicer guy when you meet Jason Brandon. He's very humble. He remembers his beginnings, and he loves his success. His daughter and I recently did that tournament in Huntsville, and if you ever knew Brandon in his beginning days, that's a mini Brandon in female form. And you watch out for Joyce Clayana Brandon. That woman is going to be one of the top females when she gets older. She's just got out of college. She's just starting her life. She's 22, 23, I think. This woman has been trained by one of the best, Jason Brandon.
Nice. What do you think of the virtual darts? Have you played much virtual darts? What's your take on?
I've played a little bit, but I've been more helping Danny Warmack with her virtual cup matches. And then I've been helping Devin learn the Dart Connect and everything about it. So not physically, no, but watching and helping set up, and then working with Dart Connect like I have since 2015, it kind of helps me have an insight to help them be more comfortable with it. because there's a lot of players that never played a virtual match, never played against a non-human presence, and it's a different feel. It's a whole different feel. Like Danny said in one of her interviews, it's hard not to see the feel, the energy that you transfer between each other, because you see the look in your opponent's eyes, you see the feel in their throw, and you feed off that when you're in person. You straight up feed off of them reacting to your shot and all that. On the virtual, you don't see the player, you just see the board. You don't have that actual connection of the other human. And I don't know, that may be one reason why I really haven't did it a whole lot, is because I feed off presence. But that's just old school darts coming out in me. But the virtual lounge is awesome.
Yes, yeah. And it brings me to this is kind of a thought process I have, and I'd love your opinion on it. Is that we're seeing a fracture in darts, and I've mentioned this a number of times, where we're going to have the in-person game and we're going to have this online virtual situation. You're going to get superstars out of both arenas. You're going to have people that play better when they're not in person. And I think we're going to see this difference within the game. You've got guys like Jason that does the Bearded Darts guy. By the way, he's going to be on Thursday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So Bearded Dart guy is going to be on. So you've got that. We had Quarantine Darts, which is now kind of, the merged with USA Darts Productions. But you've got other people that are hitting the scene. You got soft tippers that are, they're Soft Tip Central, and they're doing this virtual situation. Do you see that there's an availability for a fracture and we can get stars out of both sides?
Oh, definitely. I mean, there are some people that aren't comfortable in bars, aren't comfortable with 100 people around them. And this is a great way for them to get more comfortable with the game and possibly even break records, because if they're playing the virtual compared to the real, the virtual is, well, what I can say is it's virgin ground. I mean, this is the first year that this really has been everything. I mean, Dark Connect finally got a virtual lounge to where you can play people. NACA has been doing a lot with virtuals. I just got introduced to that for the first time not too long ago. I really like the NACA system, to be honest. It's very simple, to the point. UK recognizes it. I got to watch Danny do a match against a guy in England. She's in Club 401 as a sponsored player, and they have to play each other. And that's where I got introduced to it. There's so many formats out there that let you do virtual matches that if you don't eventually get into it, you're going to be lost. It's a whole nother ballgame. And like you with your Nexus board, and my Nexus board that I won for $10, that's a very funny story, but it's a whole different ballgame with that, because you got the camera and the microphone all in there. I've got to play some very interesting people throughout the world, and you get to call the people and talk to them, and they were like, hey, I do know your name, and this is my first oncoming to really the darts, to meeting other people. And so it's going to be a groundbreaker for all of us to meet people that we never would get a chance to meet, to be honest. Tanya out there in Colorado, she just did the quarantine darts. If I'm not remembering correctly, she made it the top 4 and still playing or something like that right now in that quarantine darts. And
yeah, it's an interesting thing, because when you look at it, soft tip is for a number of years now, because of the way the boards were set up and they were using an app, like the Grand board really allowed you to play people across the world. There was another board that came out at the same time the Grand board did. They did a one of those programs where you get money, and it was like Darts Connect. So it wasn't Dart Connect. It was called Darts Connect, and it was a board.
Yeah,
it's pretty much gone away. Yeah, they were pretty trashy boards. They were flimsy. But this idea has been here. And of course, Target got the Nexus board going. And so that's been there. But we're seeing the steel tip world gravitate into this. I think that's the one plus side to this whole pandemic, is that, steel tip said, hey, we need to jump on this bandwagon. And of course, Dart Connect, so not Darts Connect, but Dart Connect has created the ability. They've always had the ability for you to play people, but you had to communicate in a different way. But now they've got this streaming ability with video when using a tablet or phone, even a computer, as long as you've got a camera. It's glitchy right now. It's still finding its footing. Sometimes it's great, and sometimes
it's like when Dart Connect first came out back in 2014. We had issues, and I got very fortunate to be picked up with Anthony DeGalos with Dart Connect, and I went to ITT for Electronics Engineering Technology, so I was able to give an insight. They told me, here, we did this update, bang it out. And I have beat that machine up, and that's basically what we're going to have to do with this, is we're going to have to break out the bugs at the top of the app. It does give you a way to flag us and tell us what you're seeing and what the problem is. So if you are using it and you have a problem, at the top of the Dart Connect membership page is a tell us what you're having problems with situation. And Greg and David are awesome about making sure that gets fixed. Their programmers listen to everything we've said and always fixed it within a reasonable amount of time. So just give it a little patience, because it's like any true new program. It's going to have some bugs. But I've seen it working beautifully so far on my end. But of course, I've got a 24-inch tablet.
Yeah, part of it has to do with internet connections and the equipment that you're particularly using. If you're using older equipment, older tablets, certain phones,
right,
that affects the programming or the connectivity. And then of course, depending, and we've seen this with pro players where their internet. We saw this with PDC. We've seen it on other connections. Where that was an issue but I think all that's getting played out. I'm excited to see next year where, maybe bars are more open, but we're still able to play this way. I'm excited to see this new piece within, and of course with Steel Tip, with Dart Connect and that ability to play Steel Tip and have that look. And there are dartboards on the horizon in Steel Tip that keep track of score. So we're gonna get super lazy. It's gonna be awesome. We're not gonna have to count anymore. So people like me can play darts. Unlike my son who knows all the damn scores. But I'm a little curious. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention, if you guys haven't noticed this, and just curious your thoughts on this, you're seeing top players, Danny Baggish, and the like. I mean, these top players out here in North America playing these streams, and the opportunity to actually play top-notch players is there from this virtual side.
Right.
I see these guys out just, hey, anybody want to play? I'm doing a pickup game or something, and you can just go get your butt kicked by some of the top players in North America.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome. I think it's phenomenal that this is available. I want to know about the $10 dartboard, though. Tell the story. Let's hear it.
All right. So, Tom Sawyer has his TNT dart page. And for raffles, you can, for $10 a spot, get this thing. I bought one spot on his last Nexus board that he had in stock, and I won it for $10.
Yeah.
And in the video, he called me out. He's like, my one spotter, she won it. I'm a firm believer it only takes one to win. My 50-50 tickets, my raffle tickets, all those, I only buy one because I'd rather put money in the donation jar than buy a bunch of raffles and take a bunch of stuff home. Because those raffles, you can get a lot of stuff for $20 out of 30 tickets and come home with a suitcase full.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. But my Nexus board is my infamous $10 ticket buy. So I tell everybody, never hurts to take a chance.
Oh,
it's
no,
just like darts. If you don't step up and take a chance, you're never going to know if you can do it. You miss 100% of the shots that you never take.
It's like anything in life. If you don't ask, the answer is no.
Right.
But it does take one when it comes to darts, because you just need one in the double. And like me last night, I had thrown 7 and still missed it and lost that last game of my match. Didn't lose the match, but lost that last game, and I had thrown 7 and lost. So anyway, we won't get into my sad match last night, but it was fine. It was fine. I didn't lose out, but I'm as you can tell, 7 darts to win the match. And anyway, we're getting.
It's the most frustrating game, but at the same time, the most rewarding game.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the best way I know how to put it, because you can be so frustrated and so happy at the same time.
It was a blast. I got to play a gentleman in our league last night, Tony, just a great guy. And he's a darter. He's just a traditional darts guy, got to have a smoke and a drink. And for him, even though we're doing virtual, he's like, it's my bar scene. So it was a fun match last night that I got to play. It went 4-4. I had an opportunity to go 5-4, or 5-3, but 4-4. I'll take the split. It's good. Anyway, we're coming to the end of the show, where I gotta, what I say, land the plane. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the darts community, being a female darter and playing for a number of years? Anything else you'd like to get out there, share, or that we should know?
The one thing that I would like to say to every female that's watching, if you are a beginner, never give up. If you give up, you've already lost, no matter what you've done. I can be beat. Lisa Ayres can be beat. Any female that you come against that you hear, oh, they've had all these titles. You know what? We all can be beat. You get the will, the determination, and you practice. I would love to see every last one of you on a dartboard. I am known as a lobber. I don't know if you know what that means, but I have a smooth, effortless throw. So people that play me just going on. Once you get so comfortable with the game, ladies, I promise you it's a whole different ballgame. And if you practice, and practice, play people like me, play people like Danny Womack, like Lisa Ayres, any female that you can, do it, because it's only going to help all of us. The men outnumber us 7-1. Their pots are 1,500 while ours sit at 600 because of the difference in numbers. So if you think that you might want to be interested, get up and step up. Have fun. You will meet some of the greatest people in your life, of all walks of life, playing darts. So just get out and play, or get on a Dart Connect and play at home, or find some kind of system to play. Right now, yeah, it's hard to go out to bars. It's hard to go out and see people. It's hard to go out to do all that. But now you have so many virtual options. Grab a board. Go to a neighbor's like me. I invite all my neighbors over. I got steel tip Nexus. My next door neighbor now has a steel tip board. We have dart parties here in the apartment complex. I literally live across the street from MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University. We have college students that can't go to the dart bars anymore come over here and play with us because it's fun. But as far as I'm concerned, women, just step up, because it's all open. You can do it. I mean, we all started somewhere. We all began somewhere. We all sucked at some point in time. And now, when I retired in 2015, I was 18th in ADO. I had personal issues that I had to step away from darts. And now that I'm getting my game back and feeling more confident, y'all watch out. Top 10 is going to be mine. I'm waiting for ADO to come back. I played ADA for a while, did top 4 in their championships. Soft tip is fun. If you can't get to a steel tip, go to a soft tip. Yes, it's a little more expensive, but I promise you the payouts are more if you stay with it.
Yeah.
Darts is a fun way to have a great night, meet new people. I mean, I would have never met you if I never played darts. I mean, to be honest, I I wouldn't have met half the people I do. I wouldn't be part of some of the great organizations. I'm part of Extreme Team family. I'm part of Dark Connects family. And it's some of the greatest people in the world that you can ever meet. They support you. They want you to expand. They want you to become better. So as somebody who struggled for a long time and got tired of getting their butt kicked, the best advice that I ever received was, if you don't like it, learn to win. And that is the infamous Bob King here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He's from the UK also. So you don't like it, learn to win.
That's a great tagline. If you don't like it, learn to win. It's interesting that, Tennessee, is as great a state as it is, has a lot of UK people there. I'm just saying, maybe that's
it's quite amazing. And the best part about it all is they're Ohio State fans too, like me.
Yeah, we're going to stay away from, things that are round and high in the middle. So, hey, thank you so much, Angela, for being on the show. Thanks for coming and chatting up some darts. And I highly agree with what you said. You got to play. You got to get into the sport, and you don't have to buy the $100 barrels. You can buy the $20 barrels.
I started off with $15 barrels from the bar.
Barrels are barrels. It does help when you have nicer equipment, but you don't have to start there. So
yeah, when I first started throwing Vox and they picked me up, I think I threw about 200 different sets of their darts, going through all of their stuff, and finally realized that there was one that I play a soft tip and steel tip both combined in the same dart. It's a slide system, change your weight by plungers, and I love them. You're going to go through several sets of barrels if you're not comfortable with it, but just have fun with it, and you can always
Well, it looks like Angela. Oh, there you back? You froze up there. Huh? Okay, you're there. You got a little freeze there. Maybe it was my internet. Could be. Well, Angela, again, thank you so much for being on the show. Everybody, thank you for catching the show. It's always fun. I love doing these things. I'm excited about Thursday. We've got Jason, the bearded dart guy, coming on. We're going to talk about what he's doing, how he got into it.
He was out here in the Nashville area for a while. He knows half the people that I grew up playing. So it should be interesting to hear his side of the story of what he did while he was out here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great interview there. So make sure you catch that. It's gonna be Thursday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you again to Shot Darts for sponsoring. Thank you to Magicwear for sponsoring, and thank you to our new sponsor, Condor Darts, with their flight and shaft system. Guys, check out shotdarts.com, check out magicwear.com, and check out Condor. I think it's condordarts.com. New sponsor. I got to figure that one out. But thanks again. Thank you, Angela, for being on. Everybody, hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'll be seeing you guys all on Thursday. Got to get to my little end credits here. Thanks again, everybody. Angela, if you'll stay on for a second as I close the show out, would appreciate it. Thanks again. We'll see you all.
Guys.
Shoot well. We'll see you on Thursday.